It's there because Kaufman didn't make the deadline to finish the Pantera. And I'm nervous because I got $250,000 in this GT and bidding just stalled at $230,000.
Sold! $230,000. Lot number 644. This is.
For everyone who watches our channel on a regular basis, you know that we love the flip shows. Seeing car guys go out to find some of the most broken down and worn out rides, only to turn around and restore them into incredibly beautiful cars again. Overhauling, wheeler dealers, chasing classic cars, iron resurrection. There is no shortage of shows to choose from. One specific show that we have talked about quite a lot is Fast and Loud starring Richard Rawlings. He works out of a garage in Dallas, Texas called Gas Monkey Garage. It is a unique look into every aspect of the car flipping business. Viewers get to go with Rawlings around the country in order to find some of the most unique, broken down vehicles in history. Then he takes them back to his place where his crew work hard to not only make them functional again, but to bring back their original beauty so that he can turn around and sell them for a profit. For anyone who knows anything about flipping, whether with cars, houses, or anything else, they know that there is a huge opportunity for making tons of money. If you find the right thing, repair it in a certain way, the profits can be through the roof. There's a catch though. If something goes wrong during any of those steps, it could mean huge losses. As we have discussed before, Richard Rawlings of Fast and Loud has had some incredible builds, but also his fair share of financial losses. Here are a few other times Rawlings has lost big. If you haven't seen part 1 of Richard Rawlings' biggest financial losses, check that out after this video. Link will be in the description. Also, be sure to subscribe to our Krusty channel and give this video a like for 10 years of good luck.
This is a 2005 Ford GT that we just got through building a while back. It was slightly damaged. We put it back together and made a lower, meaner, leaner Ford GT.
Ford GT. When it comes to flipping and restoring things, there is a lot more involved than just a financial investment. People put a lot of heart into their projects. That's one of the big things that Richard and his crew are known for. When they get a vehicle to restore, they do more than just install some parts, throw a few coats of paint on, and watch it drive out. They look at the car and almost let it speak to them. All their repairs, customizations, and installations are done in consideration of what type of car it is, its history and potential. But as we've already talked about, flipping things comes with its own set of risks. And no matter how much heart and soul a person may put into their project, it just doesn't work out sometimes. One example of this was when Rawlings and his crew took on the task of repairing and restoring an 800 horsepower Ford GT. It was such a big deal that the episode was actually done in a 2-part series. But Richard Rawlings came across this car and was absolutely taken by it. He even named it the GM GT, or the Gas Monkey GT. At first, he put $173,000 to restore the car, but he wasn't ready to call it complete just yet. He put in another $77,000 to take it from amazing to artful, bringing his total investment to $250,000. Sadly, when it went to auction, it didn't see much action. Originally, Rawlings wanted $500,000 for it. However, it wasn't getting any bids. So he lifted the reserve and it ended up selling for $230,000. It wasn't even enough to cover the cost of labor for his crew. After the heart and soul he put into this project, it was an especially difficult loss for him and the crew.
It does a hell of a burnout. You see me do it like 100,000 times. And number 2, the car, I have just annihilated this car. It's only got 9,334 miles on it. About a third of which I didn't even put on there because it got stolen.
2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Richard is known for having a soft spot in his heart for some of his cars. As we said, he puts tons of heart into his work. But there was one particular vehicle that he took more pride in than most of the other vehicles he has owned. It was a 2015 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. He's not shy to admit what makes this particular Challenger so special to him either. You see, this particular Dodge Challenger was only the second one to come off the production line. As a matter of fact, it had a serial number of 00002. In truth, this vehicle wasn't exactly known the work that Rawlings did on it. Instead, he used it more for doing burnouts and donuts. However, he was still incredibly proud of this car, so much so that he didn't even sell this car. So, if he didn't sell the car, what could have caused him to take a loss on it? Well, in September of 2018, someone stole it from one of Rawlings' friends' houses. It was a very tough situation, but luckily, insurance paid out for it. 9 months later, though, a tow truck driver spotted it at a warehouse only 6 miles from the garage. They were able to get it back, but it had quite a bit of damage and needed even more money to fix everything. They believe the car was used to run drugs, as the car smelled very highly of marijuana when they picked it up. So Rawlings and the crew started calling the car the GMG Mule, and the nickname has stuck ever since.
Time to roll.
(1948) Chevy Fleetmaster. If there is one type of car that will really turn some heads these days, it's a really good oldie. Many make you think back to the days of the late 40s and early 50s swing dance music and getting malted milkshakes. These are the things that attracted Richard Rawlings to a certain 1948 Chevy Fleetmaster. It was an incredible project and impressive to see how efficiently he and the rest of his crew worked to get that vehicle ready for auction. Here's the thing about this show though. You don't always see the bad days that Rawlings has at auction. The reality of the situation is, he actually has way more bad days than we see on television. As a matter of fact, he probably has just as many bad days as he does good ones. This vehicle was definitely being sold on one of his bad days. When you look at the video from the auction, you don't even have to have the audio turned on to know that things are going very poorly for Rawlings.
7,500, going to be 7,500. Ladies and gentlemen, you're missing the boat here now.
He stands there with an incredibly stern face, as it is clear that the bids are not favoring a positive outcome. In the end, the car sold at auction for the very low price of $11,750. That is just below half of what was actually put into the vehicle for restoration, which was $22,500.
So, Richard helped you kick something off your bucket list.
What's that?
Getting fired.
I guess you can look at it that way. Everybody knows we got fired from Gas Monkey, which isn't a good subject with me because that is the only job I've ever gotten fired from. And the reasoning I got fired from, not really a good one.
Tom Smith and Jordan Butler fired. If you watch a reality television show for long enough, you're bound to see some cash changes. This could happen for a number of different reasons. Sometimes, some of the cast just decide to go in a different direction. Other times, it turns out that they just don't want to dedicate themselves to being in front of a camera. But in a very rare situation, 2 of the crew members from Gas Monkey Garage were fired from their jobs on the very same day. These crew members were Tom Smith and Jordan Butler. According to Rawlings, it all happened when an overzealous fan wanted a picture next to one of Rawlings' vehicles, a Rolls-Royce. Tom Smith agreed. However, Richard Rawlings went ballistic on the fan for even thinking to request such a thing. Smith then looked at Richard and told him to chill out. Immediately after, he and Butler were fired. Many interpreted it as an enormous overreaction, and they would be right, especially because this has some pretty big repercussions for Rawlings. Now, when we say repercussions, we aren't talking about lawsuits or immediate financial losses. It was nothing like that. Perhaps you've heard the names Tom Smith and Jordan Butler before. That's because they're the stars of a spin-off show called Misfit Garage, which is in direct competition with Fast and Loud. And that's right. The fired employees actually started their own show in order to compete with Rawlings. Believe it or not, they did very well for themselves on the show and have built an incredibly loyal fan base. So this situation was a big financial loss for Rawlings, not because of any vehicle or bad deal, but because some of his previous employees started their own show, pulling viewers away from Fast and Loud. Something important should be pointed out though. Richard Rawlings is actually listed as a producer on the show. So is this a legit situation, or do you think it could be more? The hidden plot behind a reality television show? Let us know in the comments below. Richard Rawlings definitely has done some amazing work, but also takes some losses from time to time. Also, as this is our second video covering some of his losses, there is definitely a possibility that there will be more, so stay tuned, there could be a part 3.